All right, today we got a special guest, a real problem in the Rising Stars division, one of the fastest growing names in SoCal MMA.
Facts.
Impressive record of 7-2, multiple championships. He continues his journey of becoming one of the best fighters in the world. Today's guest, Christian Dighero. Welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah. Looking to do some big things with you guys coming up soon. So, excited to be here.
As far as Rising Stars goes, he's done some big things, right? What could be next? What's going on?
No, I mean, I think we really got to just kind of go 2 weeks back, bro. You had an amazing fight at Royal Combat, bro. Finished your opponent. Tell us about that. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was cool. I just wanted to do a Muay Thai fight just to stay active, stay busy, really trying to build momentum right now. So it was good just to not have the option to shoot, for a takedown. My last fight, I think I shot a takedown within the first 10 seconds. This fight didn't have that option, obviously, because of the rule set. But it was good for me. I got to show a lot of the things that I've been working on, a lot of the things that, not a lot of people see. We're in the cage for such a short period of time that, these guys, the fans, friends, and family don't really get to see the work that we put in every day, the hours upon hours. So it was cool just to get to show a different aspect of my game. And I feel like I still have just so much more to show. I have so many sweet knockouts, sweet submissions to come in the future. And it's just, that's why I want to stay active. I want to, by the end of this, just have a sweet highlight reel of finishes that I could, look back on. And, I'm still amateur now, so this is before I even get to the pros. So to have a highlight reel before I even make it to the pros is pretty cool. So we're just building on that. Yeah. And, looking for big things in the future.
I think for anyone that's seen you fight too, it's kind of crazy that we're sitting here calling you an amateur fighter. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the highlight reels you've already put together, are very, very impressive. You look at it like, damn, this guy is, he's on his way to really being a big name in the sport. But that last performance at Royal Combat, I don't think you've had a finish on the feet like that before, have you?
No. So I was talking to my coach about this. This is my first KO, and there hasn't been they don't initially stream the fights, so there hasn't been a good angle of it yet. But the guy was
he was talking about there wasn't a good angle. I saw some shit on Instagram, bro. The way you went at this guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's some good angles of the finish, but there's not good angles of how he fell, because he was out.
Gotcha.
And maybe that's a little bit of viewer discretion, for that part. But yeah, like I was saying, it was good just to get that experience. And I feel like I'm really starting to show just a little bit of everything, Like I said, the last fight, shot right away. The fight before that, I avoided takedowns at all costs. Fight before that, shot right away, So I'm just, building these layers to my game to where I can really just have a good performance no matter who I fight. So yeah.
And I hear you and Ryan are working on some stuff coming up, right?
Yeah, Ryan, I think we got some big things coming.
I do think we got some big things
potentially
coming.
Another belt to the collection. So
that's right. You're kind of like a belt collector, bro.
Oh, yeah. I like my jewelry, man. So I see you got the UNF chain. I might have to get myself one of those. Maybe if I win the Rising Stars and I win the pro title, you guys might have to.
I think that's actually a pretty fair deal.
That is.
But you're gonna be cutting the check, so you gotta cut upon that one.
I'll cut that check, bro.
Maybe I'll take that instead of payment for the fight. It's just win bonus is just chain, the chain.
But on that, we do have an event coming up July 26th, Burbank Marriott. Yeah. And me and Christian are talking. I think, it's time he does fight for UNF gold.
Yeah, what I like about this, though, you've only fought with UNF one time before, right?
Correct.
You are really, in my opinion, one of the top guys in Southern California. Southern California is the hotbed for mixed martial arts throughout the country. So it's kind of awesome for us to kind of have you under our banner right now and getting you to fight for that strap. I can't think of somebody more deserving or more qualified to do it.
Yeah, I'm excited because you guys have just really shown that you guys are the top premier promotion, pro and amateur, in Southern California, and probably coming up as far as just nation. I have a lot of my buddies. We get a lot of guys in at Black House from all over the country, all over the world, and they all want to fight for UNF. You know, so it's awesome just to be fighting for you guys. I want to be a champion for UNF because that means something, you know?
go.
I think he's got like goosebumps going right now, bro.
Yeah. That
Well,
means something.
Do you not love hearing this shit? I love it.
No, I think it's really cool to hear because we've worked really hard to do that, knowing that the athletes feel that way. It's super inspiring.
Yeah, you guys take care of the fighters, and just small things like that, you know, we appreciate. And you guys have a lot of momentum right now, and it means something to be the UNF champion. So I look forward to doing that, and you know, maybe even moving towards the pros and getting that belt as well. You know, maybe I could be the first UNF Rising Star champion and, you know, pro champion as well. So
that's yet to happen.
He's willing this into existence.
yeah, 100%.
So we get you fighting for the Rising Stars strap coming up, right? And let's say you get that win. What would be next for your career? What do you sort of think?
Yeah.
Do you have a roadmap, or are you just kind of taking it fight by fight? Or
I'm kind of teetering in between, like saying, all right, it's time to go pro already, and you know, getting that last amateur fight in. But this, you know, I can't pass up an opportunity to fight for the belt, you know, before I go pro, you know. So I think for sure win this fight and then go pro, you know, follow in the footsteps of my buddy Byron. He's actually, he was the previous champ. We keep it at Black House, you know, we're going to take the belt again. And then, you know, maybe, you know, we'll have someone else like right after that, probably ready for the taking.
Black House is known for owning those UNF straps.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I think some of our staple athletes, you know, you look at Albert Morales, you look at the Bully, you look at Byron, like these are big names. And I think they've really cemented their legacies. Look, they're early on, but cemented their legacies in the Southern California scene.
Yeah, dude, we have a room where it's actually just like UNF belt, Rising Stars UNF belt, you know? So it's good just to add that to that collection. And, you know, I'm so proud of the team that I come from, and I hold that close to me. You know, you look at someone coming from Black House and you're like, oh fuck, you know, this guy, he can fight, you know. And I feel I've been there since I was 17. Like I was training with these guys, UFC fighters, getting my ass whooped since I was 17, and I'm 23 now. It's crazy how fast time went. I feel like I still am like the kid there almost, you know. But you know, these guys are the reason I am who I am, you know. So
well, I think that's the way you want to do it, right? You want to be in a room, and not saying you're not one of the best ones, but you want to be in a room where you're getting challenged every single day, where you're going with guys like Anthony Romero, Albert Morales, Byron Valle, and Black House has an amazing.
Don't forget Brendan Farnsworth.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna forget many names, but the whole room is great. But I want to get into the story because I believe, didn't you join Black House by doing a tryout, right?
Yeah. So they held a tryout, and shout out to Sean Strickland, because at the time he was training at Black House, and he posted the promo for the tryout. It was like, hey, we're looking to add some people to our pro team. Come out, try out. And so I saw that on his Instagram, sent in an application, and they accepted me. And it's funny because the application was, or the tryout was the day after my high school graduation at like 8 a.m. And I lived pretty far from Black House, so had to get up 6 a.m, you know, didn't go out after my graduation. And dude, it was a grueling process. We went through like an hour of striking, an hour of grappling, an hour of strength conditioning, and then we sparred for an hour at the end. Then I think they chose maybe like 4 guys out of like the 35. And me and Bully were 2 of them, and I think we're the only 2 left from the tryouts. So you really had to fucking earn your spot. You look at some of the clips from the tryouts. Me and Bully especially.
Yeah, you guys were going at it.
We went at it. We're like, we didn't know going in like if it was one person getting chosen, if it was multiple. So everyone there was fucking on a mission to really like become part of the pro team. And me and Bully had a great round. You know, I'll have to repost that one because we went to war. And thankfully we both got in. And yeah, man, it's just been a hell of a journey since then, you know. So
when did you find your passion for MMA?
So my godfather, he was big into UFC. He's still a massive fan of the sport, watches every weekend. But he would have the fights on every Saturday night, And every once in a while, he would just like show me an arm bar because he trained. So he would show me an arm bar, like a rear naked choke. And then one day he picked me up from school and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring you to my gym." I was like, "Sweet, cool." And went first day, fell in love. And he would bring me every day. And he told my mom originally it was just like wrestling. Because I don't think,
mom's wasn't gonna have it,
she
bro?
wasn't gonna have it.
This
So
fool would have me training all the time. My mom would scream at him every day, but we still did it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and then eventually she would end up taking me, and she sees on like the window to go, and she's like, MMA, kickboxing, full contact, everything. She's like, "Oh, okay, so you're not just wrestling, it's MMA." So that's kind of how I got my start. I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I came from the generation of people who started with MMA. You know, I didn't start with just like boxing, you know, like some of the people now who are in the UFC, you know, they started pre like MMA. It was like, hey, I'm a boxer, and then I became an MMA fighter. I'm a wrestler, I became an MMA fighter. Now I started as an MMA fighter. So that's, you can kind of see it in my style now, kind of going back to like the Muay Thai thing. Like I can kind of fight anywhere, you know? So that's kind of how I got my start. Was just super passionate from a young age. Never did any other sports at all. I never like dabbled in football, never dabbled in baseball at all. I just, from a kid, my first and only sport was mixed martial arts.
So, I mean, your mom kind of not wanting you to do kickboxing, all that stuff, or probably didn't like it, but how does she feel about you now pursuing a career in MMA and like, you know, going to your fights and all that? What's it like with your mom?
Biggest supporter in the world. Like she, like fight day, I've never experienced it, but I see pictures and videos. She sets up like an entire like charcuterie board.
Oh,
like she's got like a whole day planned out. She has her own merch. Her Instagram handle is Mother of a Champ. So like she's the biggest supporter possible. And yeah, she's a single mom. You know, I grew up with just her, and literally the hardest worker imaginable. So I think I kind of followed in her footsteps. Just, you know, that's kind of just instilled in me to be a super hard worker. So yeah, super big fan. She likes watching fights too. So she loved the last UNF card. We had like, I think 6 Black House fighters on the card. Yeah. So she was cheering on Albert, Anthony, all the guys. So yeah, super big support from my mom now.
That's listen, when you have that support network, that's huge. That gives you a step above a lot of these other athletes.
Seriously.
So kind of tell us, like, how were you brought up? Like, where did you grow up?
Yeah,
give us a snapshot.
I was born and raised in Newbury Park, California, kind of like Ventura County area. And I grew up just like literally just only training, you know. Thankfully I found this sport at a young age because you know, I kind of, some sides of my family, you know, kind of grew up on like maybe the wrong end, and I found the sport that just kind of kept me in the gym all the time. And you know, I had a good group of friends, but it was like, all right, I hang out with you after school for maybe 2 hours. I skated a lot, you know. There was actually a skate park at my school, so I would go to the skate park straight after school, be there for 2-3 hours, and then my buddies knew like I had to go train from like 5 to 9 every day. So as a kid, I grew up pretty boring, just training every day, and I kind of knew what I wanted to do. So I always had a goal to work towards. I always wanted to be in the UFC. In my 5th grade yearbook, you know, you kind of they put like a baby picture of you, and they write like what you want to do as an adult. And mine said I want to be a UFC fighter. So I knew from a young age this is what I wanted to do, and you know, just kept me on a straight and narrow path to doing it. And you know, we're on the right track now.
So I mean, you're kind of talking about the what you want to do, but what's the why?
The why, you know, it's funny because a lot of people say you shouldn't be motivated by money, by fame and stuff, but I'm not scared to admit, like, I'm motivated by money, I'm motivated by fame. I like the glory, I like the attention, you know, and I also like, I want to be the best fighter in the world. So I have a lot of different motives, but more than anything, I just want to provide a life for my family, you know, beyond imagination. I want a life for my future family beyond imagination. And I really feel like I can achieve, you know, these things. Like I deep down believe that I'm the best fighter in the world, you know, right now. And I can't imagine what I'm going to be like in 7-8 years when I'm in my prime. You know, you hear a lot of guys say like you don't hit your prime in MMA until like 30 to 32. Like I'm
Yeah.
23 right now. I have 10 fights as an amateur. Like I have a lot of room to grow,
And you fought some really tough guys
Yeah,
too, right? So
best guys.
you're not fighting tomato cans.
Every guy Ryan has sent me, yes. You know, I've had a few no's, a few pullouts, but you know, I'm not scared to fight anyone. I feel like I'm the best fighter in the world right now. So like I said, imagine what I'm going to be like when I'm 25, 27, 30. So yeah, I'd say my why is family, and just I want to be the best fighter in the world.
Ryan, I mean, I kind of love his why, right? Like living in abundance and being able to provide for your family and provide. There's nothing wrong with that,
why.
and being, you know, famous or getting that attention. I don't find a problem with that. What I think is important is how are you going to use that, right? How are you going to use that?
Yeah, I'm really passionate about the city that I'm from, Newbury Park in the 805. I want to inspire kids to, you know, follow their dreams, chase their dreams, not be scared to go off like and do your own thing, you know. A lot of kids like reach out to me from the area and say like, hey, I started training because of you. And it was funny because
That's to be a good feeling.
yeah, a little bit ago, I met Dana White like during while I was working. I work in valet and like shuttling and stuff, and I met Dana White, took a picture with him, and I said signed a contract with Dana White, like my future boss or whatnot. And my old middle school teacher, he thought that I actually like signed with the UFC, and he showed the class. And then all of these kids came like DMing me and stuff, being like, dude, you're in the UFC, that's cool, I went to the same school as you, like Mr. Bostic showed me your post. And I was like, oh shit, like I didn't actually sign with the UFC, but it's a little bit more motivation to be like, okay,
Manifesting that shit.
yeah, I gotta get there. But yeah, I like inspiring the youth. You know, I want to, you know, try to use my platform, you know, just to show kids that you can chase your dreams. I really feel like I was born with zero talent, zero genetic gifts, but I worked my ass off to get where I am, and I feel like I'm at the top of the Rising Stars division. And it's time to just take that to becoming the top of the pros, you know. So just inspiring kids to like say like, hey, you don't need to grow up with money. You don't need to grow up with these athletic gifts. You know, you can be a normal person and make it to wherever you want to go.
What I was going to hit on, you brought up that your mom raised you, right? And I think in today's world, like a lot of people think reality's Instagram, like life has to be so perfect, but you know, you were raised by a single mom, and look what you've achieved.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you don't need a big support system. You can have like just that solid, like you and your mom, you know. And I'm grateful I have a big support system, but you know, I have a solid core people that I'm close with, and that's really all I need, you know. I'm grateful for everyone else who wants to love and support along the way, but you know, if it's just me and my mom going in on fight night, I'm like, all right, I still got this shit, you know. So yeah, she's my backbone for sure, and she's just given me the platform to be able to chase my dreams, and you know, maybe I can give a platform to other kids in the future to chase their dreams as well.
Yeah, well, shout out to your mom, because we always talk about this, and I don't think you need the biggest support system or network, but choosing the career you choose, it's very hard, especially as a rising star, maybe not making money from fighting. I mean, maybe you can get on social media, whatever it is, but to have those 1, 2, 3 people that really believe in you and have your back, I think is important. So shout out to your mom. I want to give her a shout out.
Dude. Yeah, and even like, you know, the people who just like your stories, the people who like your posts, it means a lot to like these small fighters.
Everyone can talk about skills pay the bills. You know, you're a really good fighter, this, that, but like, that's just a piece to really excelling in the sport of MMA. At the end of the day, it's also entertainment. So the likes you get on social media, the comments you get on social media, how you look on social media does matter at the end of the day. You know, I mean, I think you actually do a really good job of that. Did you understand that from a younger age? Because I think you're really good on social media. You're funny, you know, with the posts. Even the Dana White posting that thing is like, you're smart, you're thinking ahead, you kind of know what to do.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the sport, so I've kind of learned a lot from fighters. I'm a big fan of Sean O'Malley. He kind of got his whole start because of social media,
Right.
you know? So I've just learned a lot from so many different fighters. Everyone, like all I do is study, watch videos, just so I've learned from a little bit of everyone, and I've kind of understand like the importance of just, you know, keeping your name in people's minds, you know, and social media has given us like a good outlet just to stay relevant, to get your name out there before you make it to the UFC, even before you make it, I'm not even pro yet, so yeah, I've kind of always tried to keep up with that. And I've actually like recently gone off of social media. I really go on just to post. But yeah, it's super important to have a presence, I think, if you want to, give yourself the best opportunities. A lot of these guys, like maybe you don't have like the right record to deserve a shot in the UFC, deserve a title shot, but because you have a following, they're like, all right, man, here,
Well, I think
get
it's
more
truly the
opportunities.
entertainment business, right? If you really,
yeah.
really think about it. So you mentioned O'Malley, and there's some other guys that I think there are some other guys that are much more talented than those guys.
Oh yeah.
But I think, the guys like the O'Malleys have gone much further because they're the complete package. They really understand the business as a whole.
Yeah, and that's important. You have to have the fans want to watch you to fight, and there's a lot of fighters who are super skilled, super good, but they either don't have the style or they don't have the charisma to carry them through, to reach the biggest heights. And, I feel like maybe I can have a little bit of both. I could finish these guys. I can have sweet knockouts, sweet submissions, and then I can also get on the mic and cut a promo if I need to, So, it's all just a learning process for me, and I'm grateful that you guys give us, the opportunity to work on those skills, so that we can, develop those before the big show.
Yeah, I mean that's like one thing we've really tried. Like if you look at it, like we're a regional promotion right now. We're obviously on the rise, but who else on our level has the schmo giving post-fight interviews to the fighters? Number one, it's great for the brand and everything, but number two is we always talk about this. We want you guys to be prepared for when you do get to the big show until we make it as a big show, right? So like, you're 3 fights in, you get an interview with Schmo, so you get that big call up and Ariel Helwani wants to do an interview or someone. You feel like you've been there a little bit before. You've done it.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
Seriously, like I was a big fan of the Schmo. I was almost like starstruck the first time I got interviewed by him, and I'm like, thank God we're doing this in amateur. Maybe not as many people are gonna see this right now, So, dude, you guys are doing some good stuff because
but we couldn't do it without the athletes, right?
Yeah.
And really the fans are really what make us. But I think the difference between us and some other folks is, we're committed to building a brand and not just putting on shows, right? Because we want to build with you, right? Because I mean, look, nobody's ever going to compete with the UFC, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But I think we as an organization can grow to where we can kind of be that middle ground, like a show underneath the UFC.
Yeah, like a feeder,
Yeah,
and you guys have
for
had
sure.
a few guys already make the leap,
Taco,
right?
bro.
Taco. I know some guys are on the verge. You got your flyweight champion,
Gianni Vasquez.
We got Romero,
Bully,
dude.
you got Albert. I mean, I know
Even,
that they just got some setbacks, but those guys are right there, bro.
Dude, right there. The guy who beat them, fucking
Robles.
Yeah, you guys. So, it's good. Just these guys in California are so good. Like we're a fighting hub in California. There's so many good gyms, so many good teams. Fighters travel from out of the state, country to train here, and you guys are giving them the platform to fight and make that leap, So,
But how crazy is it? I mean, the game is like such high stakes at all times for the guys. You know what I mean? It's just a tough business to be in.
I mean, like, just like even look at your fights. I mean, I think you fought like half your fights have been pro level fights against pro level, in a sense, competition. I mean, you fought Tony Cortez, you fought Del Morales, you fought all these names that some guys are already pro, but these are guys that are going to be good pros or already good pros.
Yeah, these are all guys that have UFC potential.
Yeah, I work with all the rising stars, and half of them are telling me, like, maybe they go, 50 in their fights, 2-2, 3-3, 2-4, but they feel like they're ready to go pro. It's like, listen, when you're fighting up next or even in Southern California, you're getting the toughest challenges and toughest tests. And that's just a credit to, I think, all the gyms out here and the fighters we have out here and all the talent. So,
dude,
I think it makes for exciting fights, right? People come to UNF, my friends who maybe don't know much about fighting, but they'll be like, that was an amateur fight?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it was. I mean, I don't even call them amateurs, but yeah,
But
it
it's
was.
something about those lights too, where everybody comes out and really shows out. I mean, is the energy in the room just like make you want to perform that much harder?
For
That
sure,
much better?
I feed off of the crowd and just the energy, especially in the commerce. You know, like they have such a good setup for
Yeah.
fights, I believe, and it makes for a good environment. And I feel like I almost like rise. Like the tougher the fights get, the better I perform, in my opinion. You know, I had a tough fight last fight against Khalil Pearson.
Yeah.
I think highly of him. You know, I think he's a good fighter. He's coming down from a few weight
He's
classes.
so fun. Bro, do you follow him?
I want
Yeah, I
to
do.
let's talk about that fight. But I do want to give you and your team credit. They were supposed to fight at 140. We made the fight on like 2 weeks' notice. So, and Khalil was very cool about it. We're supposed to fight at 140. Khalil, couldn't get down to 140, and you still took the fight 5 pounds up. And he did look a little bigger than you in there, just like muscle wise, everything. So I want to give you credit for that. But talk to us about that performance. How'd you feel in that fight? How'd you feel that fight went?
Dude, that training camp was hell. Like I had, I think 7 or 8 different injuries. I cracked my tooth. I had a knee injury, toe injury, shoulder, like just about everything in the body. I went through it that camp. So it was tough, and I was telling myself, I'm like, man, I'm fucking retiring after this fight because, dude, I don't want to go through these training camps. And I take a lot of pride because I work hard, super hard, and I feel like I'm the hardest worker in the sport, honestly.
Yeah.
I take it very seriously. So it's almost like there's a quote by Nick Diaz. He goes like, you got to love it so much to where you simply just hate it. Like, and I feel like I work so hard to where at the end of the fight camp, I'm done. I'm like, I'm ready to fight. So, put a lot of work in that training camp. We went through a few different opponents.
Yeah.
I was originally supposed to fight at 135, then 140, then 145.
The week of 145, yeah, whatever it was.
I was just like, yes, I'm fighting no matter what, I'm fighting. So I just yes to pretty much whoever you give me, whatever weight class. And yeah, I think I had a good performance. I wasn't really sure exactly like how to go about the fight because he was a bigger guy. So I was preparing for a striker originally. So I was doing a lot of wrestling, and I think that just came out in the fight. So I took him down right away. I think I originally wanted to strike with him, but I was like, oh, this is too easy. I've been preparing for this. So it's almost just like stuck in my mind, so I took him down a few times. First round, won pretty handily. And then second round, he caught me with a good left hook, and it opened up a cut that I got in training camp, maybe like a week
with all
and a
the
half
other
prior.
with my finger and my shoulder and my leg. Yeah.
I think it was actually Hamza Trad who opened up a cut on my nose like 2 weeks before the fight, and reopened during the fight, and took him down, and then just ended up finishing with some ground and pound. And I was actually honestly pretty like disappointed in my performance. I wanted like a highlight reel, like knockout, or I wanted just like a viral moment, I was really thinking like I'm gonna produce like a fucking viral knockout in this fight,
Well, what I've seen, because we're 25 shows in now, right? And it's
Technically 26.
26.
I'm not
that's
going to correct you
Sorry.
anymore. But
Yeah, you can correct me. I forget. But those viral moments tend to come when you're not trying for them.
Yeah.
Right? They just come naturally. Like Attila and Jason Granado's fight.
did you watch that fight?
Dude, that was
3
sick
million
fight.
views. I mean, it was just nuts.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, instant fan of both of those guys after that
How
fight.
can you not be, bro?
Gladiators, you know what I mean? Like it just teach that kind
they're
of
like,
shit.
I don't give a fuck. Like I'm throwing down these
It
guys.
also shows what a tough sport you've chosen, right? Because Granado was winning that whole fight. Attila was just staying in it, and just fucking caught
And I think
Granado.
what was sick about that too is like those guys were brawling, but it was also so technical. Like you see like Granado like slipping 3-2-3, and I'm like, damn, that was sick. And then I don't know the champ's name. What is
Attila?
it? Yeah.
Attila,
and
yeah.
he's fucking just swinging, and dude, you guys should run that one back at some point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think
man.
Ryan wants to
That's
get
perfect world for sure. But yeah, I love the like it was like intense, chaotic, but there was still composure in both of them. The feints were still there. They were looking good. Like Attila, I think some people make comments on Instagram like he was throwing the same right hand. I was like, yeah, but when you're under fire and like under danger, still have your hands up and you're throwing what you're.
You revert back to your training, right?
Yeah.
Right, especially when your right hand's your best weapon to get out of the thing. It's like, okay, then that probably makes sense. So people know what they're talking about. But that fight was one of my favorite fights to watch ever. But I want to ask you psychologically, like when you have an opponent, there's a face to the name that you know you're going to fight. What's your mindset like towards that opponent? Do you study him? Do you pretend like you hate the guy? Like what's your mindset with all that?
Yeah, it really changes fight to fight. Like sometimes I'm like, I treat it. I've had fight camps where I'm like, this is a sport. I'm gonna train like an athlete. I'm
All
gonna be
respect and-
smart.
yeah.
You know, respect. And then I've had times where like, oh, you signed the contract to fight me. Fuck you. Like, you think you can beat me? You think you can take away everything that I've been working for, not just for this fight camp, but for my entire life? Because like I said, this is all I've done my entire life. So like, you think you can beat me? You signed a contract saying you're gonna fight me in a cage, and you think you're gonna come out of it okay? Like, no, fuck you. So it changes fight to fight. I tend to be more on the fuck you side for the most part.
Does your performance differ based on your mindset? Like when you're on the fuck you side, your performance is better, or when you're training like an athlete, or is it really the same?
That's a
Can
good
you notice a
question.
difference?
Actually, I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
don't know if I've ever been like after the fight, like, okay, I like the mindset that I was in this
Yeah.
fight. I think I kind of just like to go with the flow and just feel, you know, rather than force something. I'm like, I'm just going to feel how I feel and be okay with that rather than like forcing. You know, you see some guys like trying to amp themselves up too much sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I've had sorry to interrupt, but I've had times where I've been in the back and I'm like, I'm too calm. Like I'm almost like nervous that I'm not nervous, you know? So it just really differs fight to fight, but I prefer to be a little bit more calm. But I tend to usually follow the fuck you path.
But does that come a little bit from Jason Park, right? Like Jason is a very, what appears to me, zen, very calm coach, very thought out person. Do you
Yeah, that's a good point because he is, like you said, super calm.
very opposite of some of the other coaches at Black House.
Yeah.
Like polar opposite.
Yeah, you would have to say so. Yeah.
Like if you were to compare Samurai
Yeah.
versus Jason, they're just night and day, but both amazing coaches, right?
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about our gym is like you can work with whatever works best with your style. And I've worked with Juan, Samurai in the past, and you know, it's worked. I've gotten like first round finishes with him in my corner, and then I've worked with Jason, and I've gotten first round finishes with him in my corner. But yeah, you know, he tends to be super calm, super technical. I think that's why I like working with him because he really pays attention to a lot of the details, especially with like Muay Thai. Super technical. Like even if your foot is like pointed like slightly this way, he's like, get your foot pointed inside. And I think that's kind of what I need. I just want to be super technical. So like you were saying, you know, you revert back to your training. When I'm tired, when I'm hurt in a fight, I'm going to revert back to, you know, being a technical fighter. And that's kind of what I look for. And yeah, it's kind of what he instills in me too. I think I kind of just naturally, like with his energy in the back, tend to just be a little bit more calm, loose. And I think that works better for me.
But I think you hit on something perfectly, right? Different athletes need different things. Different things trigger different people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And, you know, we have a whole host of different types of fighters at Black House. You know, Albert and Anthony work super well with Samurai, you know. They like that energy that he brings, you know, the hard training, you know.
Yeah.
And the motivation that he gives them just like with his words and stuff. And some guys like a little bit more chill, calm vibes, and you know, and there's nothing wrong with either way, you know.
Right.
It's just like whatever works best
No,
for
you
you.
look at Taco Padilla and Chris Coley, like at a UFC event, was like yelling at another, like high intensity, like all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then you got Colin Oyama, who's a calm, just chill dude.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's whatever works for you, right?
Yeah.
Like that's, you got to feel good about your coach and who's in your corner and kind of that relationship you guys have and what makes you feel comfortable in, you know, with what's going on.
Yeah, man. And that's what makes the sport beautiful is there's so many different styles, so many different
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean,
Is there a better sport?
dude, I don't think so. I'm a big NFL fan, but no.
I love,
Oh,
listen,
come on,
no,
bro.
well, there's one thing about NFL. It's just like, it's every Sunday for a certain amount of time where you get to watch these games all day. It's so fun. I love NFL. But one thing I think about fighting, what you can't fake fighting, right? Like you get seen through in one day. NFL team could kind of have an off day and they could still win, or it's a 15 game season. But every fighter, their next fight is really their most important and the biggest
stakes
thing
are
you got.
high. Every single performance, it actually dictates the direction of your career. and your future every single freaking fight.
That's crazy.
And you can see it in these guys. Like, it means the world to them, even for amateur fights. Like, it means the world to them every time they step into the cage, because we put so much hard work into it. And even if you didn't put hard work, you're still going in there in front of people
and fighting someone,
bro.
with
Like,
everyone to watch and comment on social media if they want to. It's a big deal.
So you've experienced defeat. How did it feel to lose?
It's devastating, you know.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, because, like I was just saying, you put everything into this, and especially me, I work super, super hard for this. So, you know, to lose, it's heartbreaking, but, you know, I feel like everything kind of happens for a reason. And for me personally, I think that those losses were super important to me, because, you know, both of those were title fights, and my mindset was like, okay, I'm gonna win this belt and then I'm gonna go pro. And turns out I lose the fight. I'm like, okay, I wasn't really ready to go pro at the time. So I think those losses were super necessary to my career at the time, just to either, like, if anything, just to slow me down a little bit, be like, let's develop a little bit more. Let's just mature. Let's grow into our body. I'm still young, you know. I still have some, you know, muscle to put on. So yeah, I think that as heartbreaking as they are, like, I think it's super, super necessary, at least for me in my journey, to have those losses as an amateur, and you know, hopefully just get them out of the way now, so I don't have to deal with them when I go pro.
Yeah, you talk to people that go undefeated, and then when they finally, like when they go pro and they face defeat, it's they don't know how to deal with it, right? Because they've never faced it before. So that's why, big fan of Ryan and the matchmaking he makes. The right Star was like,
Appreciate that.
Making fights very, very competitive for guys, making really fair fights, and he really works to kind of build these guys and give them the experience that, you know, he feels they need to take that next step.
Listen, I think if you're fighting the toughest guys, or not even the toughest guys all the time, but as a rising star, at least your last fight, you should be fighting someone that's on the verge of also going pro, or being ready. If you win all 5, 6, 7, 8 fights, credit to you, you're doing something right. But there's a lot of guys that like to pad their record as an amateur, go 8-0 and then go pro, but they haven't fought a Dighero, they haven't fought a Byron Valle, they haven't fought Fedia Chobani, they haven't fought a Brendan Farnsworth. You know what I mean? I think as a matchmaker, number one, I want to put the most exciting fights on for our fans. But number two is you're doing the fighters a disservice without having them tested in the amateur ranks.
Yeah, disservice to the guys that really want to make it a career like you.
And to the guys that want to pad the like, do not go pro until you fight one of the top tier amateurs. It makes no sense, I think. It makes absolutely no sense. You got to get tested. And at the end of the day, through the hard fights or the losses, whatever you want to call it, you're going to learn a lot more than you did from your wins, and you got to experience as an amateur. I truly believe that. Not saying you have to lose, but you got to fight some of the tougher guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're almost getting like pro level experience as an amateur, which is like, you know, the guys back, you know, who fought in the UFC maybe like 10 years ago, they didn't have like an amateur system like we do, you know. Like we're fighting like you said, like I'm pretty much a pro fighter.
You're a pro.
Yeah, man.
But I'm just getting valuable experience as an amateur against other like pro level fighters as well, you know.
I like that you're not rushing it though. I actually like it. I know that you've wanted to go pro. You were even talking about after your last fight, and Jason's kind of like, hold on, let's just you know, go back to lab and get it figured out. I like that you're not rushing things.
It's important, you know. I think I've seen a lot of people make some mistakes early in their pro career, and then it kind of like shapes, you know, that could affect your confidence. You take a bad loss early in your pro career, like maybe you don't come back the same. Maybe you don't get the right next fight. Maybe like matchmakers start looking at you as a guy like, hey, we can build off of this guy, opposed to be like, hey, this guy is like, you know, a good up and comer, you know? So I wanted to go pro early. Like I would have probably gone pro like 18, 19 years old. But, you know, thankfully I had a few setbacks to just help me. And I think now like I like more than ever feel like I'm ready to go pro, you know? So I'm ready to, you know, get maybe one more in and then, you know, hit the ground running once I go pro. And just, I feel like I could be in the UFC right now, honestly. So
I love that.
I love the confidence.
Yeah.
So does that confidence, you're a very confident person, but does that confidence stem strictly from the work you put in? Have you always been a confident person? Because when I'm talking to you, I really feel like you do believe you're one of the best in the world and you're going to be one of the best in the world. But where does that confidence come from?
I think I'm naturally a little bit of an optimistic person. But like I said, I also work my ass off. So my confidence comes from my preparation. If I'm ever feeling like a little bit of doubt, or like nerves about a fight, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going on a 5 mile run. Like,
I love it.
I'm gonna go, hit the bag. I'm gonna go do this, do that. I'm gonna go meditate. I'm gonna do something just to better myself. So my confidence, I feel like, mainly comes from the work that I put in. And I feel like a lot of fighters probably would be more confident if they worked harder.
If they put in the real work.
Yeah, because there's those questions in your head creep up from being like, fuck, I should have gone to gym that day.
I think that there's a common thread. Like when we talked to the bully, he talked about it also, like in preparation for fights. You're always thinking about what the work you didn't do.
Yeah.
So if you're checking all the boxes, you're doing all the work, you got nothing to fucking worry about.
Yeah, seriously. And sometimes I see some younger fighters coming to the gym, and I was that younger fighter, at one point coming into Black House, and I'm like, I'm on their ass. I'm like, dude, where were you yesterday? Why are you 20 minutes late today? I like to show up 30 minutes before every practice.
Bro, I love you. Can you tell this guy to show up 30 minutes early to work?
You gotta be early, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
But I try to get on some of the young fighters and be like, why are you 20 minutes late today? Why'd you miss yesterday? How did you eat last night? Something, just because I feel like that's super important. If you can break some of those bad habits early, you can start building better ones.
I also feel it's really good, man. That's accountability too, right? Like teaching these youngsters accountability. I think you're helping, build their futures.
Yeah, and I had so many good role models. Like when I first got to the gym too, like Albert Morales, I think, was one of the guys who really took me in, helped me feel like family. I was scared coming into
I'm
this.
sure that shit was just nerve-wracking, bro.
Dude, straight out of high school, and I'm coming training with some of my favorite
You gotta
fighters.
remember, the names of Anderson Silva and all these UFC greats, and you're like going to this tryout, like, all right, let's go check this out.
Yeah, like Anderson Silva was there like the month that the first month that I started training there, and I'm like, dude, what is my life, bro? Like,
who am I? Where am I?
Yeah, so and
no
Albert,
pressure, Christian, none.
Albert, like, he fucking made me feel like family. He really did, like, right away. And if I can pay that forward to some of the younger fighters now, I would love to, even if it seems like I'm giving them a little bit of tough love. I really just want to see them do well and reach the heights that they want to reach. So if I can nudge them a little bit in the right direction, even if it's annoying, and like I'm the guy who's always asking, where the fuck are you? And because these guys help us too, like we need each other to grow. So if some guy doesn't show up one day, then it affects me, even if they don't think like, hey, I'm just gonna miss a day, that.
But it also shows you care
training
enough
session.
about these guys, right?
Yeah.
That I don't think people get it. Like when you're holding people accountable or you're dealing with people, you're investing in those people. You're trying to make a difference in their lives. And some people just don't take it that way.
Yeah.
They look like you're just riding, but truly it's like you're investing in someone else to make a difference.
Yeah, and you never know when like that one technique you were gonna learn that day could have won you a fight, could have swayed, you in a different way, changed the momentum of a fight. And also, like, this is a very serious sport. Like, if you don't take it seriously, you could potentially get knocked out, like, in front of your friends and family.
Yeah.
It's the most high stakes sport out there. And I know I've already said it a couple times today, but there's so much at risk every single time you guys get in that cage.
Your health, like your fucking health, know? So
It's something you gotta love to do, right?
yeah, seriously.
And I feel like a lot, like, there's more people nowadays that like are doing it kind of to just pose as a fighter, like
For
it
IG
looks
clout.
cool. Yeah, I'm like, dude, there's some other shit you could go do. Like, this isn't it.
Bro, not it. Like, and that's the cool thing about you guys is you really see like a lot of the high level fighters, It's like it's very rare that you see someone who doesn't belong in there, But yeah, that's the cool thing about UNF is you're seeing the best of the best.
Yeah, I think so
show.
too. I mean, I think Ryan does a really good job getting the best talent, but also what I
That's
would
two
say.
times this podcast you complimented me. I think
well,
that's more than the last 10 podcasts combined.
It's
huh?
Father's Day coming up, so I'm
there you
trying to
go.
like get a present from this.
I'm
guy.
gonna get you some Nikes since you love your shoes.
Yeah,
I
but I
got you.
think one thing too, Christian, one thing that we always talk about is like we'll watch tape on some of these guys and then they're debuting with us and then their performance inside the up next cage is just levels above. You look at a guy like Knife Face, for instance, or Stephen Killam, their fight was freaking amazing. Both those dudes looked so good.
Yeah. Shout out to those guys. I trained with Steph
Bro, he's a character. I love that guy.
He's hilarious, man.
And another thing, just while we're talking about SoCal MMA, like Stefan Kilm, I don't know his Muay Thai record, but I think in MMA he's 0-3 now. But like, come on, that's no 0-3 fighter anywhere else, or shouldn't even be in SoCal. He's had really close fights, but it's just crazy the talent you have out here.
Well, yeah, to Stefan's credit, right? I think the commentators had Stefan winning that fight against Knifeface, and others, said Knifeface won. So that was a close fight. But that guy, records don't mean anything.
I train with him, so I'm like, Steph won that fight. But, I can see how it could have gone either way.
I love the fights where you just don't know who wins, right? Like, or like, it could be 50% on this side, 50% on that side. That's what makes it
careful that you're saying that, Stefan won, because people may start hating on you. Because I was talking on one of our podcast episodes about a fight where the fighter that won, I'm like, yeah, she won. And then I was getting hated on Instagram. People saying that I got it all wrong and shit.
They can hate, man. And, maybe one day me and Knifeface will get in there together and we'll settle it, because I need to get one back for my boy Steph. So who knows? Yeah. Maybe one day. And I like him. I think he's a cool character, just a cool person to have around. So
he really is, once you get to know him and you talk to him. But I think he and Stefan are almost the same people in different bodies.
They're like they're very different, but very, very similar. But yeah, it's the funniest
so
thing.
Entertaining,
and they were like so cool and respectful. And there would just be like these little spikes of like intenseness and just cool back down. But yeah, no, actually, I like that you versus Knifeface potentially. Later down, later on.
Maybe one day.
Well, I mean, we're talking about you versus Knifeface.
He's coming for you, Knifeface. Be ready.
I don't know if you like doing call-outs and shit like that, but is there anyone on the Rising Star scene that you want to fight?
Oh, fuck. No, I feel like I'm the guy who people should want to fight.
I knew he was going to say that, by the way. I just knew it.
Maybe like a little bit earlier. Who's good at 135? I don't know. I feel like
He's like, who's good? Only me.
I feel like I'm probably the best fighter at 135. I actually did want to fight Knifeface,
Yeah.
I think that would have been a good fight, and I just wanted to get one back from my boy Steph. And but yeah, other than that, no, not really.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you guys got some stuff in the mix, so we'll see what we can make happen. I know can't let the cat out of the bag yet, Ryan. Right?
But no, we're not gonna say anything just yet. Nothing's finalized, but what we could say is, we definitely want Dighero fighting for that 135 title coming soon.
So whoever you fight next, give them a message. What would you say to your next opponent? What can they expect from you?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to embarrass you, hurt you in front of your friends and family, and yeah, you shouldn't show up to the fight, but I appreciate you taking the fight. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, it's kind of nice of you to say sorry, at least.
No, yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, but no, we definitely want to get you on the card. Okay, so what are some like what's some things outside of fighting that you like to do, if any?
Yeah,
seems like you're very dedicated to your craft, your career, and the potential of your career. But what do you do to unwind, chill?
Well, he works and he trains. I don't know that he's got any free time for anything.
That's what
I try to make some free time. I'm a big foodie, so. I feel like, dude, I
got stopped because I'm getting a little too much weight, but dude, I'm a big foodie.
That's how I am too. Like, I'm my own worst enemy. I just love to fucking eat. Like, and I feel like I probably could have been a competitive eater in another life, or maybe after this career is over. Like, I can put down some calories.
What's your favorite food?
I'm a big Chipotle fan, but I have a big sweet tooth. Like,
dude, what is wrong with you, Chipotle?
Dude, I've been a big.
It fucks me up. It fucks me up like later in the day, but I love eating it while it goes down.
Because I load up the bowls, man. I've just been a big fan for a while, so. I love fast food. Like, I don't know. Like, people hate on fast food.
Tastes the best going down. I don't give a shit what
What's your favorite fast food place?
A double quarter pounder from McDonald's is low key fire, but should you eat it? Probably not.
No, dude, I love everything. Like Cane's, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A. I can go on and on about food forever. But yeah, I have a massive sweet tooth too. So that's really where I get myself. Yeah, I'm a big foodie. I've gotten into golf recently. I love golfing. I love poker, big time on poker. Just like sports betting in general.
You might sit in with the Buckner boys. So my son Kobe and Ryan, they play some cards.
Big gambling fan. I love blackjack.
There's nothing like going to Vegas and just having a good weekend.
Oh, it's the best. Or unless you lose money, there's nothing like that too.
The goal is not to don't play too much. You just gotta play with they say like you should go out. What you would be good with spending out at like a club or like a dinner or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Take that to gamble. It's
Yeah.
like it's like going out. And if you come up money, it's even better.
Yeah,
I don't really win too often though, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Those guys are good, you know, especially like high level poker, dude. Those guys are good, you know. But yeah, besides that, I like golfing, big into poker, and I think I'm starting to get a little bit more into reading. My girlfriend's really big into reading. But I think like just getting off of social media, have some more free time, and then spending some time, you know, reading. I do a little bit more of like self-help books or self-help books.
Yeah.
Just because it kind of ties into MMA a little bit as well. So yeah, I mean, besides that, all I do is really train, work, and that's it.
And eat.
Eat a lot when I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
When I'm allowed to. That's why after I just had a Muay Thai fight, I'm struggling not like cheating. You know, I'm like, I gotta, you know how shitty it is having to eat a salad after knocking someone out?
That
Dude.
sounds horrible.
It's the
Yeah,
worst.
you got to be able to celebrate.
Bro, I had an In-N-Out burger.
In and
A
out.
double?
4x4.
No, 3x3 right here, bro.
This is our guy? No, but we get
Yeah.
the 3x3s with
The
4x4.
after shows, it depends. Like
What time we finish? Yeah.
Yeah, what time we finish. But if In and Out is still open, bro, that's exactly what we
Oh
hit.
yeah, that's the go-to. Usually
Yeah.
In-N-Out's the go-to. Not only the best tasting, but they're also open late. Man,
Did you
I need a
see
sponsor.
Fedia's post after his
Yeah.
last win with all those doubles because he's a double champ now, like all the double
Yeah.
doubles?
You like 5 or 6 of them, huh?
Yeah,
Dude,
he's
that's how
so
I am
funny.
too.
All right. Well, you know, let's say you do fight for that title on our next upcoming card, and you don't have to fight 2 months after. Whatever, you can have a couple cheat meals. What's a first thing you're going to eat?
I'm usually just an everything in sight person. So I'll put down everything. But I usually go to like In-N-Out or Cane's like right after and get like whatever the biggest thing they have
So
is.
is Cane's like Dave's Hot Chicken? Is it kind of the same thing, or is Cane's?
I mean, it's a chicken place, but
I
I
haven't had
wouldn't say
Cane's.
it's like Dave's Hot
It's
Chicken.
it's
no.
super basic. Like they just have tenders, fries.
The bread there is really good though.
Yeah,
Like,
and
they have
bread.
the bread's insane, and then their sauce is insane too.
so
the
can you
sauce,
blow
bro.
up?
Fuck, guys, come on, I'm getting hungry now. Fuck.
No, dude, I'm serious. Like I could put down like 30,000 calories in a day. Like I can eat a lot, dude. Like it's really concerning. I
You
grew
got,
up,
you got Chris laughing over here. 30,000 calories,
bro. Like I grew up a fat kid, so I
Oh, were you a fat kid?
yeah, I was a fat kid, so I could I think I kind of carried that same spirit with me. I'm really food motivated, so like you tell me like we're going to a good restaurant, I'm in. You know, it's just like the two careers don't line up really
Yeah.
because
I know what we should do.
What should we do?
We should, if he wins the title his next fight, he gets a $300 gift card to like Raising Cane's or something like that.
Ooh.
That would be kind of cool, don't you think?
I'm in for that.
Yeah, we can do that
Yeah,
man,
but why Racing Cane's? Why not?
because
something-
he likes Raising Cane's. Oh, you want
Raising
something-
Cane's, In-N-Out. What do you guys pick?
Listen,
the
we could
spot?
do
No, but if you got to pick, like what restaurant? Like if we were to take you out to a restaurant,
Yeah.
like after you, where would you want us to take you?
Listen.
If quick and easy, I'm going probably In-N-Out. Quick and
Okay?
easy, I'm going
Let's say if
In-N-Out.
it's a nice sit down with silverware and
Sit down.
cloth napkins.
I mean, so my godmom works at Mastro's, so I've been kind of spoiled with getting the Mastro's treatment. She would bring home food like almost every night.
Mastro's.
But I like a nice and simple like Cheesecake Factory. You know, I usually
they
go
have
there.
I hate that we're talking about so much food, but the Louisiana chicken pasta from Cheesecake Factory, you guys
Dude.
got to try that.
Chipotle chicken pasta. I had that actually
Yeah.
after the fight too. So yeah, man, I like cheesecake because they got such a good
Dude,
variety
that
of everything.
menu's like this big.
Yeah.
And I think
like a binder.
everything on there's like 2,000 calories every
Dude,
meal.
I have a goal to have try one of everything on the meal. You know,
You guys, should I order food right now for us? I'm
Yeah, we
starving
should,
now.
for sure.
we got to move the fight to 145.
Let's switch it up, Ryan.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. No, you
you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, no. Favorite UFC fighter and why?
All time Frankie Edgar and Nick Diaz. Frankie Edgar because I saw his fight with Gray Maynard. I don't know if you guys are big UFC fans, but
Classic.
his original fight with Gray Maynard, not the first one, the second and third one, wars. And I remember just being on the couch, just me and my goddad, and we were going nuts.
That's it.
And then the Diaz brothers, but specifically Nick, just because of like their persona, their non-caring attitude. I just loved that as a kid. I had all their merch, all of like the Metal Militia shirts and shit. I loved. But But now I'm a big Sean O'Malley fan. I think that he puts on like a persona on like social media, like he's this like rich, flashy guy. But I listen to his podcasts and he's super smart. I've learned so much from him and his coach Tim Welch. Like they like to preach just health, good sleep, good nutrition, good habits, and I've learned so much from them over the years. So I'm super grateful for them. They don't know who the fuck I am, but like I've taken a lot from them. I've almost like shaped my career kind of after them in a way because I follow them like religiously. So I've just learned a bunch from them. So yeah, I'd say they're probably my favorite fighter. He's probably my favorite fighter right now, but all time I'd say Frankie Edgar.
Were you bummed when he lost? Did it matter?
So sad.
I was at an engagement party.
I didn't watch the fights.
No, I'm a piece of shit because I was at an engagement party for my cousin, but I bought the fights. I was watching it on my phone. But he actually looked like there was improvements. Like he came out good. Like from what I couldn't hear the commentary really, but he looked pretty good. I was looking up and down the whole time, but Marab's just a different beast.
Dude,
bro.
yeah, I was sad, but Marab, like you kind of had to know that was coming, you know.
Yeah,
he's
like
such
you had a
beast,
feeling.
Yeah.
You never know if he caught him with one shot.
Was it a boring fight though, or was it?
No.
It was all right.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing special.
I feel like after the second round, you just kind of knew. Well, after the second round for sure. But like the first round, like O'Malley came, he took the center a little bit. He was hitting with like decent shots for trying to move, and you're like, okay, it's a different O'Malley than the first one. But Marab just started hitting with some. Marab was doing good on the feet, where I was like, oh shit, this can't go good. So, but it was exciting. It was all right.
Yeah.
No, I think it's important to also learn from people who have already been there and done that. There's no need to recreate the wheel, right? So if you can learn from O'Malley and sort of what he's doing, and then put your own spin on it, I think that's the roadmap to success for you.
For sure, yeah. And even just guys like guys who kind of shape my gym, like Anderson Silva, Lyoto Machida, now Alex Pereira, even he's been in and out of our gym a little bit. So
Pereira is
dude,
a phenom, bro. That guy,
yeah.
Wow.
We got to get him
Different
out
beast.
to a UNF show one of these days,
Bro,
man.
get him out.
Dude, the size of that guy's hands, even just like that shit will scare you. Like
He
you just
looks like
shake his hand and you're like, how is this guy human?
Yeah, it's like he doesn't look human, kind of. You know, I mean, like obviously he's a huge guy and everything, but like looks like he's like an action figure, like in a superhero movie or like a villain in a superhero movie.
Dude, let me know if you want to put him on your VIP list. We'll get him seated in the corral there. Come watch you go for that strap.
We'll get him out. We'll get him out one of these times.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. He's just
how could you not
anybody,
be, dude?
anywhere, kind of.
I hope they run that one back, him versus Ankalaev.
Yeah, I think what's really cool about today's MMA versus, coming up in my time, like the athletes are just on a whole nother level. Like how well-rounded, you have to be multidisciplined now to be successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's almost weird now to see a guy who's a specialist. Like you see Alex Pereira and he's like the outlier because he only strikes. Everyone now like is an MMA fighter, but then you see this guy who like only needs to land a left hook on you. You're like, what the fuck? Like this is crazy.
It's crazy, but let's give him a little more credit because he has some sick sweeps now, some trips and like but everyone's working. But you brought it up earlier in the podcast is, this new generation of MMA is like when you started MMA.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like start with just wrestling or just jiu-jitsu or just boxing. That's how most people are coming up now. We always talk about it. And no disrespect to the guys from the early days of the UFC, but it's like you guys now could have been top contenders then with the skill set.
Isn't that crazy?
You know what I mean?
Sometimes I'll look back at old fights and I'm like, holy shit, I would have been UFC champion like if I was fighting in that era right now, So it is crazy how much the sport has evolved, and it's still such a young sport. Like the guys in 20 years, like we have guys, little kids, we have a kids program at Black House. These kids are going to be UFC champions in like 20 years, and they're like starting at 6, 7, 8 years old, and they're, they see guys like Albert Morales come through the gym, and they see guys like, Alex Pereira come in every once in a while. They see guys like Anderson Silva, like, and these guys are 8 years old. I got it when I was like 17, 18 years old. These guys, they're the future for sure, So it's just going to keep growing. Like every generation's going to be way better than the next. And it's still such a young sport. It's
How old
crazy
is
to
Eli?
See. Eli, he's got to be around like 8, 9-ish.
That guy's traveling everywhere, competing everywhere.
Dude, he's probably, I say I'm the hardest worker in the world. He's probably
Bro,
the
I've been,
hardest
since we
worker.
started UNF, I've been seeing his Instagram name popping up. He's probably 5, 6 years old at the time, but he's training all the time.
Yeah.
All he does, bro. I'm like, I like to be like, yeah, I'm gonna be the first one in the gym today. I get there, nope, Eli's there already. He's working with Albert and stuff, and I'm like, man, this kid is gonna be just such a beast when he's like 15, 16 years old, and he competes like multiple times a month. So he's just gaining experience,
Yeah.
gaining good, competition, trains with, one of the best teams in the world as a young kid. So sky's the limit for that.
Yeah, I'm sure being around all you guys, Albert, the bully, whoever else is there too, like as a young kid, that has to be, if you really love it and you're passionate about it, so inspiring, and like you want to go there, you want to be there, and you want to be like, the guys you're surrounded by.
For sure, yeah, and it's cool because we get to see guys at every level. Like we got to see guys who are high level amateurs. We got to see guys who are like high level regional pros, and then we have guys in the UFC as well. So it's cool just to see, you just follow the path, and you could get to where you want to go for sure.
I want to.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
You go.
Switching topics a little bit, but I want to ask you, because fighters always get way different answers for this question, but do you like doing tape study on your opponents? Do you think that should be something your coaches do? Do you like doing it? Are you big on visualization? What are you when it comes to that?
Yeah, I like to do tape study, but I'm not like super like crazy into it. I know a lot of guys, like I know John Jones, who watches it like religiously, like every step, every punch that his opponent throws. I tend to just like maybe watch a fight or two, and then I'll be good. But I know my coaches do a little bit more studying. But yeah, I think that's maybe one of the areas of my game I want to grow. Like I want to be able to treat it like a sport, and kind of like those guys in the NFL, like they really watch and know everything that their opponent is going to do, and I kind of want to be the same, so that's maybe something that I got to work on for the next fight and going forward.
Yeah.
So outside of MMA, what are some of your personal goals?
Personal goals, I think financially, like I said, I kind of just want to take care of my family. And it's hard to say because like my vision is strictly based on MMA and in the sport, so I don't have too many like personal things that I'm working on outside of, other than just like always trying to better myself as like a human being. Like I'm trying to get off of social media. I'm trying to like meditate, breathe, work more on that kind of stuff. Just like overall health, that doesn't really have to do with the sport. So other than the sport, I really just want to like optimize myself as a human being, to be the best like version of myself, so I can be a good boyfriend, a good son, a good just everything. So yeah, outside of the sport, just like mainly health things that I try to work on.
I need to start doing some of those things.
No, you really do. I think you could learn a lot from Christian. But is there like a moment that you could think of in your life, like a life-changing moment that changed the way you think or the way that you look at things in your life at all?
It's a good question. My dad unfortunately passed when I was 14 or 15, freshman year in high school. And I feel like that really kind of made me more intentional with like my goals, and maybe more serious with like wanting to provide for my family, because it kind of just like hits you in the face. Like I'm like, all of a sudden, like my dad's gone, and I kind of, am like the man of the family. I have 2 younger half sisters, and then I have 3 god sisters. So I was kind of grown up around girls, and I'm like, I need to be the provider for these people, So I feel like I've been always a little bit like older than what my age said, but that kind of made me really be like, okay, I need to be like serious about this. I have a good opportunity to take care of my family. I can be the one who changes their lives. I can be the one who provides for them. You see, like, it almost seems like unbelievable to these people when you hear them say like, I started from nothing and then I, became a millionaire. I provided for my family. It almost seems like impossible, but I feel like that kind of kicked me in the ass to be like, I gotta be the one. I gotta be the one who changes everything. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, that had to like it turned your life upside down.
Yeah, it's crazy to look back on because that was almost like 10 years ago, and it still feels like fresh, so um but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you got to be proud of yourself and how you handled it. And stepping
Thank
up
you.
and being the man and being the leader and the provider, that takes a lot. You could have just crumbled and talked about earlier. You had choices whether to go to the MMA, do the right thing in life, or be fucking shady and do stupid shit. And you made the right choice.
Yeah, for sure. And I carry that, that spirit and that energy with me every time I go into the cage. And yeah, it's uh it's definitely something that's difficult, but I think it's something that, um I took the positive out of, if there ever is one, and I'm just yeah, I'm proud to represent my family. I'm proud to, you know, be the one who can help them out and, provide a good life for them.
No, I think that's brutal, right? I mean, how many people lose their a parent at that age? But I think what's important about what you said is you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish. So when people talk about being dealt bad hands in life, this, that, and the other thing, I call bullshit, because look at you.
Yeah.
You lost your dad. You had a choice to make. You made the right choices. You're persevering, and you're one of the top dudes in California because of your hard work. So
Yeah.
I think people can achieve anything that they want to achieve if they're dedicated and they really want it.
Yeah. I mean, look at the waves you guys have made in such a short period of time, You guys you guys are, I'd say, the premier organization in California, and you guys did that based off of hard work, and a lot of people just don't put in the effort. You guys put
Yeah.
in the effort and it shows, so like you're saying.
Yeah, I posted something today from Derek K or Derek Fay, I think Derek Fay or whatever, but it's like he talked about how he built his company. Like you have to lead by example, right? You can't just be a boss. You have to be a leader, and leaders lead by example. You put in the hard work. You don't do anything, or you don't ask people to do anything that you're not willing to do yourself. So everybody makes the comment about seeing me work at the events that I work the cage door and do all this. It's truly because I truly want to lead by example. And I want the fighters to feel like, Up Next is just not a promotion. We're part of your family.
Yeah.
And we're willing to put the work in. If you get in the cage and do the work, we're going to put all the other work in outside the cage.
Yeah, it doesn't go unnoticed for sure. Like we really appreciate all the work you guys put into the shows, and it makes us want to, like I want to have a good performance, because I'm fighting on a big UNF card, so like I said this before, I'm like I want to be the one who people remember Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want to be
Love
the fighter, and that's kind of why I was a little bit disappointed after my last fight, because I was like, like that wasn't the best performance. Like I think I could have, produced something more special, but I always go in thinking like I'm the main event. I'm the person that everyone's here to see, and I want to be the one that everyone remembers come Sunday morning, and I want to be the reel that you guys post all throughout the next week,
Yep.
So, that's kind of my mindset going into the fights, is like I really just want to be the one who everyone remembers come the next day.
I think that drive and that desire is what sets you apart too, right? And you're not always going to hit your mark. You're not always going to get that viral moment, but that drive and that desire and that hard work is going to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah. And thank you guys, So if there is an opportunity to go viral, I know it's going to be with you guys. So
Listen, we got.
I do want you to go for the viral moment,
Hey,
but
listen,
I just
you got
think
to
it's
create it,
gonna
but we got
happen.
one of the best social teams that will get that shit up.
yeah.
Post it when it needs to be posted, and shout out to Jeremy McPeak because he's the one that got that Granada one up there right away, and it went viral. I want to ask you another question though. What is your favorite fight of all time of yourself, like of your own?
Of my own, I feel like I'm my own biggest critic, but I'm also my own biggest fan, because after every fight, I'll probably watch it 7,000 times in a row. Every little like inch, the walkout I even love. I'm a big fan of just like the theatrics of the sport too.
Moment,
So I
yeah.
like the walkout. I like, you know, the announcement, the ring announcement. I like the post-fight interview. If I had to pick one, I would say my Quest Truxton fight. I really enjoyed. He kicked me straight across my face. That produced a pretty cool picture. And then shortly after, I got like a standing guillotine, like John Jones style.
Sick. I saw
And
that.
then like he like dropped like out cold
Yeah.
after that. And I feel bad because I always repost that, but I'm buddies with Quest now. Like we like message each other back and forth on Instagram every once in a while. But I'd say that one. I was coming off of like an ACL injury, pretty long layoff. Feel like a tough, good opponent in Quest, and he challenged me. It was also my first fight with my girlfriend, who I've been with for a few years now. So that was kind of just like a whole experience in itself, like going through a fight camp and a fight with a girl in the crowd, like who I'm like newly with. So that was cool. And there was actually a funny moment in the fight where like I had him up against the cage and I looked up in the crowd and I just see her like glaring at me, and I blew her a kiss. And then it was kind of just like a moment in time. It just felt like
I'm sure
I
she
don't know.
appreciated that because I'm sure she was really nervous probably watching you
Dude,
fight.
it was so weird. Like I just happened to look up and it was her, and I just like blew her a kiss and then right back to the fight. But yeah, it was I'd say that was probably my favorite one, just because it produced a pretty cool moment. And I think the opponent was super tough, and I performed well, I believe.
Yeah, I kind of like what you said, is like enjoying that moment from the walkout and the event. And that's why, like, for us, it's so important to give you guys that moment, right? So making sure the ring announcer pronounces, you know, people's names properly. You get the walkout music right. I mean, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make sure you guys get that moment.
Just like you're a stalker, sometimes I stalk other promotions and whatnot. Like the amount of times people get it wrong and like just like don't give a shit about how it looks and like
no, just
I'm like,
like
what the
these
fuck?
commentary teams. I don't want to shit on any other promotions.
Do it.
No, these commentary teams that they don't even know the fighters, don't even know what gyms are from. Oh, I think it's this, I think it's that. It's like, bro, you owe it to these athletes who are risking it all getting in there to know who they are, where they're from, and
Like
know some basic background.
Our commentary team and production team, we really try to reach out to fighters and get whatever information we can before. So like, if we talk to fighters, they're like, yeah, my family back home in Mexico is gonna be streaming this. Our commentators are literally saying that during the stream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We try to get everything we can. Yeah. It's great for the broadcast and it sounds great, but we really want to get your guys' stories out there, honestly. That is a big thing for us.
But I think it's because we work with amazing people, right? Like if you look at our commentary team, you know, John King, Todd Kennelly, you know, Chris Bruno, the Schmo, they really care. They're invested in everybody. So when you have passion about what you do, I think it's amazing. The other thing is Rain, our ring announcer. Wow, she's just amazing. She gets the biggest highs. So I don't know if you ever, you know, bump fists with the ring announcer, but if you ever will do it with her, you should, because she'll be on a high, bro.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Bro, she loves it. She just gets a kick. She'll be like, Chris, the third fighter, you know, bumped heads with me. I loved it.
But I was actually kind of like surprised on how well the commentary team knew their stuff. I was like watching back and I was like, oh, like he was like paying attention, and I was like, he knows some stuff about me. He knows some stuff about my previous fights. I'm like, that's super cool that they put the effort into knowing that kind of stuff. And it means a lot to the fighters. It means a lot to the families watching back home.
Yeah, I think to your family too, we want to represent you guys, you know, every athlete, you know, you want to make them feel, I always say this, right? You got to make everybody feel special and important because they are, you know what I mean? If you make people feel that way, they're going to make the best event possible for these fans.
Yeah,
you know
definitely. I mean? And I like going back to the walkout thing. Like I actually had a fight once where like they called your name and then they played a song, and I was like, I put a law into the walkout. They played the wrong song, man. And I was like sitting there for a second. I looked at Jason. I'm like, dude, they're playing the wrong song.
And listen, I think that's also a thing. You could speak to this more, but I would assume if I ever visualizing myself fighting, I feel like that last song or last thing you hear before you go into battle and get in the right mindset is huge, right? Like,
dude,
I truthfully think that. So if someone throws a wrench in and they start playing fucking Lady Gaga, I don't know who you like or who you don't like, bro, that shit would throw me off. I really think so. Obviously, you gotta lock in and go do it, but that would just suck that they don't even care enough to get it right.
Exactly. It just shows like the effort. And I'm big on visualization. So
You've already played that walkout through in your head
every
times.
step. Like I'm like, okay, like if I time it up, like I'm gonna enter the ring at this point in the song, and like Bro,
did that
like-
with the Weekend song that you played. I remember you
Yeah.
walked out like a certain part of the song. I saw that.
Yeah, so like it does mean a lot, especially, like you were saying, like these guys, like they put some thought into it, and just like getting some simple stuff right, like could help us out.
Well, I can't say we've never made a mistake, but we really
try.
We chase fighters down like weeks in advance. Let's get your walkout music. We do our best to get it all, but it definitely is there's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes to run a promotion properly.
No, all you can do is look yourself in the mirror and say you tried and you did your best, and that's really all you can do.
We're a lot like you, right? We're our own biggest critics. We're our own biggest fans. I think we love what we're doing. We're proud of it, but we know we have a lot of fucking work to do to stay on our game and actually improve. So
yeah, there's
so many moving parts.
always work to do, and even if you like in your mind, have a perfect show, like how can we raise the level? How can we do it better next time?
I think as a human, we can learn like a lot. Like you never want to stop evolving. I don't care how old you are. I don't care any of this shit. That's what just drives me crazy. Certain people that I'm around at times, like, oh, this is just who I am, what I am. I'm just going to stay this way. It should never be that way. You should always want to be the best version of yourself.
100%. Yeah. Like that kind of keeps me busy outside of fight camp, is just like, how can I be the best version of myself? Like I said, I got into reading a little bit, meditating, breath work, just like visualization, all these kinds of different things where you can just keep leveling up so you can just be the best version of yourself. And maybe one day I'll look back on this podcast and I'll be like, man, I was way less than I am now. That's the goal, is just like, I'll look back on this in 5 years and be like, I'm so much of a better version of myself than I was.
You will be. From talking to you today, the mindset you have, and you're amazing now, and you're great now. Don't take it wrong, but 5 years from now, you look back, you're going to be, proud of where you.
5 years when you're in the UFC.
Yep, that's
and
the goal.
we could say we were on a podcast with Christian Dighero. You see that?
We'll be showing your highlights from the podcast when you're fighting the UFC.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Do you do private mentoring classes? Because a lot of the stuff you're talking about, we want Ryan to start doing. Can you?
Well, I'm open for availability if you want to book a session.
Christian, whatever you got to do to hang out more, I'm down.
But no, I do kind of want to start dabbling into coaching a little bit, because I'm like pretty far from Black House. Like I'm almost like 2-hour drive to get to Black House. So it'd be nice, because I try to do 2 sessions. I try to do one in the morning, one in like the afternoon-ish. But it'd be nice to get some coaching in between, just so I can, stay busy and make some money that way. And then, so I don't have to cut time out of my weekend to work and stuff.
Yeah, and I think being a coach too, I think helps improve your own skill set too, right? Because you're paying attention to those details, right? You're very focused in. And I think an important thing is always giving back to people.
Yeah.
You're giving somebody a gift, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah, when I was at my original gym, I taught the kids classes, and I really found a lot of enjoyment in that. Just the kids, you'll run into some, quirky kids who just are there because their parents are making them, but they're fun to be around. And then you'll see some kids who are like serious. They take it serious. They really love the sport. So I do enjoy like coaching kids. I remember having a good time with that. We always did some fun stuff, got some like, we used to do like little obstacle courses and stuff for the kids. And, it was always a good time. So yeah, maybe dabble back into that a little bit. And yeah.
What else should we talk about that we haven't talked about yet, bro? Is there anything else? What did we miss? I feel like we covered a lot of stuff.
I think we covered a lot of stuff too. I don't know.
Yeah. I think, we're just looking forward to July 26th.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah.
Can we please?
Hey. I don't want any slander on my name right now for anything.
Listen, Christian and I are going to slander your name.
But what he doesn't understand is he doesn't know the art of matchmaking. He doesn't know the steps and the procedures and what we got to go through.
What a shit show like matchmaking is. Like I feel.
Honestly, we've been talking now for probably like the last year, realistically, just whatever. But the amount of times we want to get him on a card, someone pulls out, weight changes. He knows. You don't know though. So
this is true.
Be quiet.
I'll stay in my lane.
All we can say for now is that I will be having that UNF strap around my waist come July 26th.
And a $300 gift card to Raising Cane's if you get the W.
More importantly.
If you get the W, Raising Cane's.
Why are you sticking with Raising Cane's? I mean,
the guy likes
pick Raising Cane's. Let him pick.
Hey, he said Raising Cane's, so let's go with Raising Cane's. I'm cool.
I asked him, I think, twice.
Whatever.
What do you want it to be?
Yeah, what do you want it to be?
It sounds like you got a thing against Raising Cane's.
I was hoping like we all could go out to dinner. Like I get a meal out of it too.
Oh, okay, I'm cool with that
You
too.
know, that's
You're
what I was
paying, bro.
hoping for.
Whatever you want to do.
No, we'll do the 300 Raising Canes. That way you can take all your people.
Yeah.
Have a great freaking time.
All right, let's do it.
$300 a Raising Canes will last you a decent amount too. It's better than just one dinner, I think.
You're absolutely, as usual, Ryan, you're absolutely right.
Thank you very much. Well, anyways, I think let's wrap this thing up.
Let's wrap it up.
All right.
Anything, you got any
Appreciate you, brother.
sponsors, any other shout outs that you want to give out to?
Just shout out to my people, 805. I love you guys. Your guys' support means the world to me. We're gonna show out come July 26th. We're gonna have a big crowd, loudest pop of the night, and we're gonna produce that viral moment.
Let's go,
come that
viral
day.
moment.
Everyone's gonna remember you on Sunday.
Oh yeah,
I
Let's
love
go.
it. Thank you, Christian.
of course.
Brother.